Diversity is really important to us here. We do a lot of grain farming also. It allows us to produce our own grain in-house for the cows to eat. This really allows us to do quality control for the cows. We know what we're growing and the commodities that the cows are consuming. One of the things that we're looking at now is, and have been doing for the last 2 years, is using a special type of corn seeder that comes from Ireland. And it basically seeds a plastic film that's biodegradable behind the corn seeder. And this creates a really nice greenhouse effect where 2 rows of corn are underneath 1 row of plastic. And the moisture isn't able to evaporate, so it creates a really nice humid environment. So we use the Samco corn seeder to really increase the amount of heat units that our corn can take advantage of to grow. And this basically allows us to use varieties of corn that would be grown in hotter climates in the world, where they're able to grow better type of corn. I think if you looked at our northern climate here, it's not ideal for growing corn silage. And so a lot of our corn production is genetically grown to be able to produce corn with less heat units. And that actually works against the amount of energy that we receive per acre. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. It's really exciting, and hopefully we'll see more of it in Western Canada.
We take a lot of care and precaution to make sure that we're adding back to the soil, that we're not just taking. And so manure is a great way to reincorporate a lot of the nutrients that are vital to soil health. The other thing I think also is dairy cows eat a lot of alfalfa. And so maybe what people don't always know is that plants are feeding the soil. So when you have an annual grass or an annual alfalfa, as soon as the sun is shining and that plant's alive, it's feeding the soil. And so it's really vital that we try and keep as much land as possible into annuals like grasses and alfalfa.
To me, sustainability is really about having a long-term view of success. It means not taking shortcuts in terms of environment or food safety or animal care. As chicken farmers, we have a really good news story, and when we talk about different aspects of sustainability and how much things have improved over the last number of years. One simple statistic is that the chicken you eat today has a 37% lower carbon footprint than it did in the 70s. And a lot of that is just driven by us wanting to do better. And I can't help but think that we're going to continue to do that.
So the thing with the solar was that, like, this was the price of a pretty nice pickup truck. And like, I don't know, I drive a 1984 Volvo. It would have been just as easy for me to go and buy a big old truck, right? And that doesn't return any income, and it's not always environmentally sensitive to be purchasing that but not be doing anything with it, right? But this, I could get for about the same price, and it returns income every day that it's operational. And it's got a performance warranty of 25 years. And there is no automaker currently doing that. So those are some of the reasons, the things that I thought about when I installed them. I'm always interested in ideas that are sensitive to resource management. So whether that's water, like in the barn right now, we're installing water meters to manage water usage, or at least to record water usage, just because we have no idea how much water we use. And so recording it is going to give us a good idea of how much water are the cows using and how much do we use in our washdown procedures. The solar panels, the solar system that we installed on the roof of the barn, I installed because I have a dream of going net zero. I want us, because obviously we are going to use energy on this farm, but to be able to say that all the electricity that we buy in, we put out just as much, I'd be particularly proud of that fact.
I think there's 2 main issues that we have coming forward. So I think there's a renewed and increased focus on environment. That's, the air, the land, and the water, and how we manage those resources and how intensive livestock production plays in that role. So that includes manure management, soil management, and water management. The Producer Environmental Egg Program, which is called PEEP, which you can't help but like that. So again, we talk about the sustainability side, so that deals with everything from water, manure management, energy consumption usage, a lot of those types of things that lead to environmental sustainability.
Yes, we are really looking to invest in whatever new or what we can do to make it environmental more friendly. And because we are from Europe, and to be honest, Europe is 10 years further ahead from Canada. We already know about the rules that are there. We know those rules will come here, so we're already doing that. We're already working on it. We're already prepared for it. A couple of years ago, we invested in a heat exchanger because we want to think about the environment. We use a lot of gas in our barn because you have to have your barn at a certain temperature. Like in a layer barn, you want to have the temperature 21, 22 degrees for the chickens to feel comfortable to lay an egg. When we receive new birds, like for example this barn, it's 30 degrees in there. So we need a lot of heat. We need a lot of gas. Gas bills are not cheap, especially with the carbon tax in there. It is really expensive. So we invested in a heat exchanger. So that means that all the heat that goes up and is in the barn will go into this heat exchanger, go in there, gets cleaned, and then it goes back into the barn. So you reuse your heat from the barn into that big, looks like a container, and then it goes back into your barn. Instead of heating your barn, have all your air go out at the outside, get lots of gas in your barn and heat up your barn again. We just reuse our air and just make it clean again, put it back.